What's going on, guys? Hey, welcome to our year-end wrap-up episode for the Ripple Effect Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Harper, and I am truly grateful that you are joining me for this very special episode. I'm going to highlight several things that really stood out to me in 2022 and maybe give you some insights into some things to check out and maybe areas to explore for yourself that could really kick off your new year in a really magnificent way. Well, before I jump in, I have to give proper credit to my wife. For those of you that are going to see this video, you see me wearing this amazing Cubs shirt. I got this for Christmas, along with the vintage Cubs cap. You know, now some of you are like, hey, they don't have like maroon in their colors. They did way back when. So this cap is pretty sweet. It's by 47. What is it? Yeah, cap 47 or whatever they're called. 47. It's awesome. Vintage cap, Cubs old logo. Love it. If you're on the podcast and you're like, I have no idea what you're showing, go to my YouTube channel. We'll have this streamed there as well, just so you can see what I'm talking about. But then look at this shirt. Oh my God. We've got the famous Wrigley sign. We've got the view of Wrigley. We've got the Ivy. We've got the Cubs logos, different versions of the Cubs logos, and of course the World Series banners. So 2022 wasn't super kind to my Cubbies. I mean, they were just decimated. But I am like every good Cubs fan. I have confidence that this upcoming year will be our year. We're going to go further than we did last year, which is really not saying much because we did not do very well. So wouldn't take much for us to improve. But I actually have, some subtle, secretive confidence that we're going to actually be better than a lot of people give us credit for. I believe we're rebuilding, and we're going to get back to the greatness that we were once known for. I promise. That's at least what this shirt and this hat signify for me. It's a new beginning. It's a new start. I'm ready. I also brought in another cap that my wife gave me for Christmas, which I love. It's this denim cap with Grogu from The Mandalorian on there. This is a total nerd fest for me, as you would expect, because I love that show so much. Can't wait for season 3 to come out. As a Star Wars nerd would be, right? Mandalorian season 2 just lived up to all the hype and the expectations. I loved it. I'm now reading the comic books, which is just a retread of the series, and I don't care. I love it. I love it so much. I'm actually also drinking my coffee this morning out of one of the new Star Wars mugs, 2022 limited edition. I got 6 of these bad boys. There were 12. I should have got the other set of 6. I'm so disappointed. My boys, when they saw these mugs, they're like, well, Dad, you don't need 6 of them. I'm like, yes, I do. These are all mine. All mine. All mine. Why? Because I found them. I paid for them. Well, my wife paid for them. We were at Walmart, to be fair. I got them. I was ready to use them. And she's like, nope. You can't have them. They're going up for Christmas. So I was like a little kid on Christmas morning. Had my Grogu cap. I couldn't wait to open my coffee mug. Couldn't wait to put on my Cubs cap or my shirt. And I was ready to rock. And they were not too happy because I won't share any of the mugs. They can use them. They have to wash it and then put it back where they found it. But, I mean, I think that's being more than reasonable. I'm going to swap my caps back out here and go back to my Cubby cap. All right. So, 2022 recap. Gosh, what a year it's been. You know, I actually made a tweet this week that I think is pretty relevant for us before we jump in, is that I think there's this tendency, and I see it every year, but especially this year, a lot of things happen that people just weren't happy about, right? There's a lot of unrest in the world, in the world of politics, in, the war in Ukraine. There's all this just really bad stuff going on right now, the economy. And, a lot of people are like, I just can't wait to get out of 2022, bring on 2023, it can't get worse. Don't say that. Please don't say that. But I also have this tendency to think that people fixate too much on the stuff that didn't go right this year. And if I look back, I didn't have the best year. I mean, we had a major water leak in our house. I've got a major problem with my truck. It's costing me just way more money than it should. We've had some unexpected expenses and challenges. Got this internal battle within my own personal family over some stuff with my dad. I could look at that and on par would say, 2022 was not good. But that would not be accurate. As I look at how it is right now, in this moment, I have breath in my lungs. I have a heart that is beating. I am here able to talk to you. And today has untold potential. And although I'm recording this just a few days before the end of the year, 2022 allowed me to challenge myself, to really push myself to overcome some things that, other years probably would have knocked me out at the knees. And yet here I am, still standing, baby. I am still standing. And I refuse to look back and say, I'm just going to focus on the negatives, because there were a lot of great positives. Had a great vacation, got to spend some great quality family time. I'm getting sort of an extra period of time with my boys as they're finishing up this next phase of their college. I get to work with them every day. I get to work with my wife. I get to spend time, probably too much time with them. But I am sort of drinking it up. In fact, actually during the holidays, we picked up throwing the football again. And now my boys can't seem to get enough of it. They just want to go back out there. And it's just as fun as it was when they were, 5 years old, 10 years old. We were out there in the front yard tossing the ball. In fact, our neighbors keep driving by and they're like, oh my God, this is like a throwback to how it always used to be. Every single day you guys were out here throwing the football. And we have been pretty consistently for the last, 10 days or so. It's been a lot of fun. I'm just enjoying the moment, right? So my point about these tweets and these, declarations is, even though the year may not have gone the way you wanted it to go, don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, because you are here, you are present, you are still able to get out of bed and put one foot in front of the other. And not a lot of people can say that. Some people are really struggling and some people are challenged, and I don't want to dismiss that situation either. But I just want to recognize, if you can and you are able, don't just focus on the negative. Focus on some of the positives that went for your way, that broke your way this year, because I think it's super important and critical to do so. All right, enough of that. Not going to preach to you anymore. What I wanted to do today in this episode, I want to first acknowledge all the amazing guests that I've had this year. Oh my God. From Sylvia Acevedo, the former CEO and rocket scientist for NASA. She was amazing. I got such tremendous traction out of that episode. So many people were inspired by her story and what she brought to the table to share with our Ripple community. Maxine Clark, the founder of Build-A-Bear, she and I have known each other for many, many, many years. I was so in love with this interview and all that she's doing to revitalize St. Louis, and what she is creating there in St. Louis is just absolutely amazing. I got to interview so many amazing people this year. I got to, talk to folks like Christina Weiss, who's just changing our entire perspective on the power of money. The amazing Julie Sands, who is a good friend of mine that I know through my software company, who is actually taking a stand in really helping women understand and embrace the possibility of a career path within construction. In fact, in part, she's actually one of the reasons that we kicked off the Women in Construction podcast series for Owner Insight. And I'm super, super grateful for her and being such an amazing inspiration for me. I had Lori Wagner, who is a well-known poet and writing teacher based in California. She came on and we had this amazing mojo, and I just loved that episode. Danielle Prahl, who has been a hero of mine. She is a digital marketer. She is a woman that really has done so many amazing things for so many entrepreneurs to help them get their products and services off the ground. She was so gracious in coming on to the Ripple Effect podcast in July. Jeffrey Davis, the author of Tracking Wonder. He and I have struck up a very fun friendship. Really, really great guy. Amazing book. Highly recommend it. Lynn Smith, who is the former anchor over at Headline News. She was on the weekends, and then she had been at the Today Show before she joined CNN. She came on. She is now a media consultant and an amazing person. I've really enjoyed getting to know her. I just absolutely loved it. I got to meet, thanks to Lori Wagner, Andrea Shearer, Wonder Seeker, 52 Ways to Wake Up Your Creativity and Find Your Joy. That was an amazing book. I absolutely loved reading that over the summer and then interviewing her for the podcast. I just had so many great people, whether it be Tom Cotter for Backpack Friends, Elise Krenzel. She is like the living embodiment of Almost Famous. Most recently, I got to interview Yvonne Nava from our local ABC affiliate. She is unbelievable, amazing person. I could have talked to her for hours. She just makes interviewing so much fun and so easy. A number of great people this year, and I'm so blessed that when I asked, people said yes, and they decided to come on to the show. I had a good friend of mine who is often one of the more critical people in my life, I've got to be honest with you, and say that they said, man, you are bringing your A game on these interviews. You are really, really doing an outstanding job getting not only interesting guests, but being able to pull things from them that really make it super interesting. And then you tie it back into the Ripple concept so well. And that was high praise. Let me tell you, let me take a drink here. I've also been ill through the holidays, which sucked. And so I'm overcoming a little bit of that. That's why my voice is a little bit deeper today. Yes. Yeah, it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit raspier. A little bit. Anyway, I was so appreciative of that comment because it really hit me well because that was high praise from them. And I went back and I listened to so many of these interviews multiple times, and I just was proud. I was just so proud. I got to have this great conversation with Matthew Homan, another entrepreneur in the St. Louis area that is just doing amazing things. He created this thing called Thanksgiving that spurned so many great ideas and things that I want to do for my Ripple community. And, I really enjoyed the ability to dig into some of these things that people are doing that really got them fired up and what they're out there doing, creating their own positive ripples in the world, and then bring that to this audience and do it in a way that I really enjoyed. I wrapped up recently with an episode with Kristen Casey. She was the former girlfriend of Joe Walsh from the Eagles, and she wrote a book called Rock Monster. Definitely something that you need to check out. It talks about addiction. It talks about codependency and how to get through on the other side. She's an amazing person that I have really come to respect and admire, and I'm grateful to call a friend. And so just all of these people that were willing to step up and come on to the Ripple Effect and share their stories, share their bits of inspiration, and have a conversation with me, it was just beyond belief. And so I wanted to recognize all of that. I encourage you to go back and look at all the body of work that we did this year because it was solid. I mean, it was a solid showing, I think, for the Ripple Effect podcast. And let's not forget my other two shows that continue to just surpass all expectations. Conversations with Asha and Steve, where Dr. Asha and I are talking about all things about mind, body, spirit. But most importantly, we started focusing a lot on what entrepreneurs were challenged with. We had this great series called The Banana Peels of Entrepreneurship. That was a lot of fun. We had a great time doing that. We've got some great things planned for the upcoming year with that podcast. And of course, my other podcast is with Donna Carlin, and we call that show Inquiring Minds. And Donna and I have these really deep, expansive conversations each week, and I have had so much great response from that. People just really love where we go with that show and the kind of questions that we put on the table for people to think about and to apply to their life, which has been so great. So I encourage you to go back and check those shows out if you didn't. We have just amazing roster of episodes in both of those shows. But, this is the recap, right? So this isn't just a show and tell kind of thing. I wanted to make sure that you just had a clear understanding and a presence of mind about some of the great shows that maybe you may have missed, or maybe you're like, yeah, that was a good episode. Maybe I should go back and pick it up and listen to it again. I would appreciate it, because that is why we put them out there. It's important for me. So, as I'm kind of looking back, I made myself a little list, right? Oh yeah, by the way, hello, hi, how's it going? I just drew that yesterday while I'm just sitting there, being bored. But I was making a list of things that I wanted to make sure to highlight this past year that I thought were of note, right? Things that you might be interested in either acquiring or checking out yourself. So many things. I used 2022 to really explore. I really got into the editing and the producing piece of the podcasts. And so I tried to create better sound quality. Hopefully that is coming across, except for this raspy voice. I tried to get a process and approach for producing these episodes so I could turn them around fairly quickly. I'm only a one-man show as it relates to these podcasts. And so I need to create that level of efficiency so I can do it so it doesn't impact the rest of all the crazy stuff that I've got going on every day, but that it required that I learn new skills and abilities. But one of the things that I really took the time to pay attention to this year is where I'm picking up these bits of inspiration, these new ideas, these new thoughts. And so I just finished a whole series of books. I mean, oh my gosh, the number of books that I read this year was sort of out of this world. I started early in the year. I think I'm going to go back and I use this app called Goodreads, goodreads.com, to keep track of all the books that I'm reading, just to keep, sort of an understanding of where they are and, sort of a list. And this is incomplete because I think I didn't go back and update all the books, but a few that I wanted to share with you, highlighted at least for you, is by James Clear, Atomic Habits, an easy proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. That was a good book. I really enjoyed that book a lot. I started, where'd I go here? I didn't start this book. I did start it and didn't finish it, but Uncommon Type by Tom Hanks. I love that book. I picked it up at the library, but I'm such a slow reader for fiction that I had to go back. And then when I went back to renew it, for some reason, somebody had a hold on it. So I need to go back and read that one and get that one again. Books that I have read, though, I should just focus on that, Steve. Come on, concentrate, boy. Jeffrey Davis's Tracking Wonder, Reclaiming a Life of Meaning and Possibility in a World Obsessed with Productivity. Love that book. I was also recommended this book by a guy that I met at the gym, an 81-year-old ex-pharmacist who looks like he is about 50. And he was telling me about these books that have just transformed his life and his health. And so one of them was by James Nestor. It's called Breath, The New Science of Lost Art. Really helped me recover from my effects of COVID that I had in February. And also this book by David Sinclair, Lifespan, Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to. That book, he is all over that book. And thanks to him, he got me thinking about different ways, different supplements, different approaches that I needed to take. I'm going to talk about somebody else that I've been seeing this year that has really made a huge impact on my health, but I'll come back to that. I also mentioned Andrea Shearer's book. I read that before I interviewed her, Wonder Seeker, 52 Ways to Wake Up Your Creativity and Find Your Joy. Austin Kleon, I picked this little book up on vacation, Keep Going, 10 Ways to Stay Creative in Good Times and Bad. Love that. I also read Morgan Harper Nichols' Peace is a Practice, an invitation to breathe deep and find a new rhythm for life. Gretchen Rubin's book, Happiness Project, or Why I Spent a Year Trying to Sing in the Morning, Clean My Closets, Fight Right, Read Aristotle, and Generally Have More Fun. I read, thanks to my good friend Mara Thomas, I read Rory Vaden's Take the Stairs, 7 Steps to Achieving True Success. I'm still trying to trudge my way through Ken Nelson's Designing and Leading Life-Changing Workshops, creating the conditions for transformation in your groups, trainings, and retreats, because I want to do that. I want to make more, bigger, better workshops. I get really bored with that book pretty quick. But great content in there. It's just, it feels like I'm going back to school. So, been a hard time getting through this. Just finished this book thanks to a recommendation from my good friend Diane Carroll. Smart Brevity, Write Less, Say More, Get Heard. I love that because I want all of those things in my life, to be honest with you. A good friend of mine, and podcast co-host Donna Carlin recommended Mastery, the Keys to Success and Long-Term Fulfillment by George Leonard. Great book, really quick read, but really powerful read. I read over the summer Kim Perrell's Jump, Dare to Do What Scares You in Business and in Life. I just finished Kevin Brown's, literally yesterday, Unleashing Your Hero, Rise Above Any Challenge, Expand Your Impact, and Be the Hero the World Needs. There are a bunch of other books that I read that I did not put on this list that I can't think of the titles, but hey, what do you want from me? All right, I gave you a few. Those are all great books that I would recommend. If you follow me on Goodreads, just look me up. I think you can find me. What's my handle here? Just look for Steve Harper or @RippleOn, and you should be able to find me. You'll be able to follow the books that either I put on my list or that I'm reading currently. But that becomes a really great way to keep track of all the books that you want. It's also a super handy way when you're at a bookstore and you don't know what to buy. You're like on vacation or you're at the airport or whatever, and you had a recommendation, you put it on your Goodreads list, and then you can say, hey, these are the books that I wanted to read. So maybe I can find that title since I'm uninspired by the covers that I'm looking at. It's a great way to make sure that you keep track of any books that you want to put on your list that you want to one day secure but have not yet done so. It's an excellent way to keep track of that. And then you can share reviews with people after you've read it and let people know what you think and why you like it. Kind of a fun side effect of Goodreads is I get contacted all the time by new authors or authors that are looking to bump up their reviews, and they'll send you a review copy of their book, which is pretty cool. I've gotten some really good books that way. Anyway, changing and switching gears here a little bit. A couple of other highlights for me for this year that I really, really got into. This actually was an acquisition that I got at the end of last year, but I'm really, really put it through its paces this year. I picked up a Marley vinyl record player, like a vintage record player. This is made of bamboo. It's a beautiful record player, and I have really gone back deep into vintage vinyl and have been just totally loving it. In fact, like it so much, I got a second unit for the office, bring a few albums up here. When I'm working on the podcast or I'm doing some editing, I've got a album or two that's in constant rotation here, and I love that. I got a new journal cover. You know, as many of you know, I've got the Ripple Effect journal, which I highly recommend. This one's looking a little dirty, but a little worse for wear. But I got this off Amazon, this leather cover, just to add a little more oomph to my journal. And I'm grateful I did, because now when I look at it, I feel like I'm like Indiana Jones. Dun, da, 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 da. It's just smells good. It feels good in the hand. And it's just, I don't know, it's like $17 or something. But it's authentic leather, which may get some of the animal people a little upset with me. However, I mean, I didn't kill it. I'm just using it, you know. I'm guiding the spirit of the animal through holding and containing my great ideas for the world, my great connections, all the great things. And you know, I do a lot of journaling. This thing has become my right hand, and so I'm grateful that I was able to find this thing on Amazon. And it's just created a little bit of a process, right, for the journaling experience. And so I picked that up and I liked it. Things that I wanted to point out to you that I'm really into that are in no particular order. I got a subscription to Masterclass, and I have absolutely enjoyed that. I have, there are so many great people up there that you can learn from in just about any area or topic that you want. And I have really, really, really enjoyed it. The one that stood out to me the most is the one that I did at the very beginning of my subscription, which is Steve Martin, talking about comedy, what makes comedy funny, what gets people's attention, how to hold a room, how to, get an audience, all those things. I really, really just enjoyed it. Plus, I just love listening to that guy, man. I could put that thing on and I could just be like, oh man, I am zinning out because he's got such a great voice. I don't know if you're watching Murderers in the Building, but man, that is a great show on Hulu with him and Martin Short and Selena Gomez. It just kind of drove home for me. I've always been a big fan of his, but the masterclass was a great, insightful look into his career, what it took for him to break through and make it. And I really loved it. But there's all sorts of great people on Masterclass that I highly recommend. It's definitely worth the money. The other thing, because I am such a nerd, that I picked up this past year that I'm so grateful I did, is the Marvel Unlimited subscription. I can read all of the old Marvel comic books, but I can do it online. I can do it on my iPad. I have really, really loved that. I wasn't sure it was going to be worth the money, but man, I have gotten my value out of that in a big way. Anytime that I'm stuck creatively, anytime that I am a little bit stressed at work, I can just pop open the app. I can read a few pages and it just it's like meditation for the soul for me in some capacities. Although I know, you're probably like, well, don't you tell us to meditate already and does not do that for you? It does. This just does it in a different way. And it just kind of ticks the nerd in me. And, that's a good thing sometimes, So Marvel Unlimited Comics, definitely get that. I'm recording this on my new iMac that I got for the studio. I'm loving it. I ordered it because it was red. Turned out that it's not red. It's red in the back, pink in the front. Not loving that, but, and because I rushed on, what was it? Black Friday or whatever, when Apple was having their big sale. I had problems with them taking my order, so it canceled. And so I had to go back in. I was frustrated, kind of going back through it. I wasn't paying attention. So I ended up errantly ordering the 24-inch as opposed to the 27-inch, which is the size of the screen on the prior iMac that I was replacing. But I actually kind of like this. It's small. It's a little bit more snug, but it's still pretty badass. I got to be honest with you. It's really a really cool little accoutrement to my studio now. And so I'm recording it. Actually, I'm using the camera on it. It's that high quality. I'm not even using my Canon for this, which is pretty cool for the video version of this recording. So I think that's something worth checking out. Let's see what else. Springsteen dropped a new album this year. This has been really, really, I've got to say, kind of a really interesting departure for him in terms of his musical approach. It's called Only the Strong Survive. I have yet to get the vinyl. I'm going to get the vinyl. I thought I was getting it for Christmas. Nobody got it for me for Christmas, so I guess I'm going to have to buy it myself. But, man, he goes through some of the old Motown hits, and he remakes it in his own voice. Excuse me. And I listened to it like 3-4 times. I did not like it. And then it just all of a sudden, something clicked. I just ended up loving this album. It's such a departure for what he normally does in terms of his music, but he's got such a soulful voice. The older he gets, the more gritty that voice gets. Kind of like John Mellencamp. It's the same way. There's just a hook. And once I made the switch, once that switch clicked over and said, "You like this album, Steve? You really do," I ended up loving it. And so I do have it on my iTunes, obviously, but I need to get the vinyl. So that is a new thing for me, but I'd highly recommend checking it out. I think it's awesome. Another new focus musically for me is I've been really getting into Led Zeppelin. Not that I wasn't into Led Zeppelin again, but I'm doing a deeper dive. I'm going into some of their old stuff and really enjoying that. And have enjoyed just listening to some of the genius behind the music. And that, of course, then leads me to Robert Plant and more of his solo work and, discovering some things about John Bonham as a drummer that I did not know. And music, as I've found, has just been a great inspiration to me. And I expect over the next couple of years, I want to really get in and dig into some of these key artists. I have this tendency to default to like Springsteen and play him all the time. And I don't often go back deep into other bands, and I really have decided I'm going to. Next up, after I go through this Led Zeppelin phase, I think I'm really going to get into The Cure, and go back and rediscover some of the musical genius there. I like The Clash. Who knows where 2023 might lead, but I highly recommend, if you haven't listened to some Led Zeppelin, just drop that on your iTunes or whatever, or your machine at home, and just listen, and just listen truly for the music. And man, it has a way of changing your mood in such a manner that you can't help but just like start drumming, start making stuff happen. All right, let's see. Back to my list here. I thought I'd bring them in, but I did not. I got some new fidget rings. These things are cool. They're like little rings that are magnetic, and then a little fidget cube. I'm constantly always playing with something in my hand when I'm on a conference call, even when I'm recording. Normally I have something, I'm like down here like, but I don't today. I left it in my bag, which is in my office next to the studio, and I failed to bring that out. So no show and tell for you, my friends. But look for fidget rings. Thank me later, I promise. Let's see here. What else? Oh yeah, I got for Father's Day, I got Mike the bobblehead. I will put a picture up, but from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. This year saw the ending of Better Call Saul. What did you think of the ending? Was it the right ending? Did they do it justice? I think they did. I enjoyed this entire season in such a way. Now I'm hopeful. Now, Vince Gilligan, if you're listening, you'll go back and do Mike's backstory. But my son Zach got me this bobblehead for Father's Day, and it is awesome. This adorns my office at home, mainly because I don't want it up here at this office, because I don't know that somebody isn't just going to pinch it. It's that awesome. I'll throw up a picture of that so that you can see it. Yeah, let's see. What else? What else are we talking about here? What else? Oh yeah, discovered Dos Hombres this year. Dos Hombres is a mezcal tequila. But it's by my friends, Bryan Cranston and, oh my gosh, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. They're not really my friends, but I like to pretend they are my friends. If you have not tried this out, oh my gosh, it is a delicious but yet potent way to enjoy an adult beverage. Really got into that. Also for Father's Day, my family got me the Austin 512 whiskey. It's burnt orange, and it's delicious, delicious, delicious. And then for Christmas, my wife is just the bomb diggity, let me tell you. She got me Noble Whiskey by Mike Rowe, the guy that everybody knows from Dirty Jobs. He has his own whiskey that is based on his grandpa's recipe. This is a really hard to come by whiskey. She somehow magically made it happen and got me Mike Rowe's autograph to boot. How freaking awesome is that? So, yeah, I'm going to be drinking a lot over the course of this upcoming year, I suspect. Really, really have enjoyed it. I mentioned earlier that, the sort of the journey that I've been on for my health. I met a amazing lady this year, Dr. Jenna Valentine, who has been seeing both my wife and I, and has done an incredible job in getting my body back in alignment, sort of helping me take back control of my health. She was such an inspiration. She's actually going to be in an upcoming episode of the Ripple Effect podcast. You do not want to miss this. Will be an episode that will help you get your health priorities situated in the right order, kicking off the new year. So that'll be a perfect complement to start 2023. But she's been putting me through acupuncture and cupping, and has really helped me navigate some really difficult injuries. As many of you know, last November, I shattered my shoulder, and I had quite a bit of pain still from, basically it's completely redone. I've got a bar right through here. And I had 2 treatments with her. Ping gone. She gone. It has been amazing. And I'm lifting, I'm stronger, I'm doing things that I never thought possible. And I give her 100% credit because she has been so amazing. So definitely look for that episode. You're not going to be disappointed with that. The other big thing that happened in 2022 for me is we launched the Ripple membership. This is the playground I always wish I had as an individual, a place where I could come ask questions, I could get great content, I could get some coaching, and I could find my tribe, my community. We built that. it started in September, so we are literally in our 4th month, and this thing defies all expectations. It is one of the coolest things that I have ever been affiliated. I get so choked up. Hey, sorry. That sounded bad. That's congestion. It is one of the coolest things I've ever been affiliated with. It has been such a fun experience. Cynthia Berg has taken on the role of community manager, and she has been so tremendous in helping us keep everything on task. You know, how we've acquired our masterclass instructors, the content that we've been able to provide, the variations of the experience. It really is like a buffet. You get to come in and pick and choose the things that you want to participate in and enjoy, and walk away, come back, and take liberties in something else. And that has been a fun experience to create this environment. And I am getting such tremendous feedback from the people that have joined. I'm just totally honored and blown away by how people have responded and reacted and what they're taking away from this, which has been so great. So super excited about the upcoming year for that. What new things are coming up. Oh, I also got this really cool Funko Pop. Have you seen these? I'm obsessed with these things now. I've got way more than I should probably have, but I'll throw up a picture. But my son got an exclusive Chewbacca that they found at Target. It's like only available at Target. And he's like, Dad, isn't this cool? Like it's got this, it's like Chewbacca. And then it shows on the back of the box, this vintage Chewbacca, Star Wars comic book where they're featuring Chewbacca. And I'm like, dude, I got that comic book. I got that comic book. I got to go look for that comic book. And sure enough, because now I'm organized with my comic books, I was able to put my hands on that in about 3 minutes or less. And I was able to produce that comic book. I only held on to a handful from my youth. Unfortunately, my dad threw out a ton of them. But that was one that I kept, and it was in pretty good shape. He was blown away. He's like, oh my God, I cannot believe I picked this up. And this one's featuring that particular issue because it's like from 1977 and I have it. That was the coolest coincidence ever. Like you could not have ever predicted it. And, I just loved it. It's a highlight for me for this year, to be able to, take a little bit of my youth and marry it with something that my son today in his youth was able to find and give to me because he thought it was cool, and just how that connection happens. I guess, as I think about this year, and that's pretty much my list. The other thing I was going to share with you guys that if you haven't checked out is Substack. Substack is a new blogging platform. Also, you can do podcasts there. We're starting to experiment with some things over there that we're going to launch in 2023 for the Ripple. But I have found so many great authors, so many great writers on that platform. So go check out Substack. And if you want to just get somebody great to follow to start, Austin Kleon. I mentioned him in the books that I read this year. He's in Austin, but I have not met him, and we're not friends. But one day we will be, because I love his work so much. But I think you would, if you needed to follow somebody, follow him. And then probably in the next 30 days, look for me, because we'll be on there. But as I think back to 2022, I want to just acknowledge all the great experiences that I've had, all of the fun that I've been able to experience, all the smiles, all the laughs. Even though there were some challenging times, I somehow magically found my way through this year to really overcome all of that. I had some difficult challenges, from a mental motivation perspective. We had a turnover on an unexpected hire at work that I never planned on or never counted on. I took a chance on somebody, really invested heavily in somebody that let me down in a big way. And that sort of took the wind out of my sails for a little bit. And then I just woke up one day, I'm like, why am I letting that situation control me? And never look back after that. And so I was able to turn many of the negatives this year into at least lessons and understanding of certain things that I needed to let go of or control better, or to stop ignoring. And honestly, that has been probably the biggest takeaway from this year. And I've really tried to lean into my my innovative side and get back to being the builder entrepreneur that I am, being that person that is taking things like this Ripple membership program and building it in a way that really adds value and gives back in spades to people that make the investment. I've got a new thing that I'm working on for my software company that I think could be a complete game changer for us if it works the way I expect it to. I am back to my building roots, and part of that was doing things like this journal, right? Being able to write these ideas down, come back to them at a time where it made sense for me to explore them and, let these ideas marinate and, sort of percolate until I'm ready to take them on. And that's where I'm at right now. And so I am ending 2022 on a very upbeat note and very positively motivated to take the process and the momentum that I've created in 2022 to make 2023 my best year yet. That's my goal. That's my hope for me. I have the same hope for you. I am so grateful that you're on this journey with me. I'm so grateful that you let me share these amazing guests, share this content when I put it out individually. I'm blessed that you tune in to this or to my YouTube or to my other podcast episodes or shows. I'm just finding my pace, and I'm so grateful. It's taken me 51 years to get here. I am not stopping. I am only going to continue to build. I'm only going to continue to grow. And I have you to thank for it. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for wanting more of what I've got. Thank you for encouraging me when you can and inspiring me everywhere. I am truly, truly blessed. And so as I finish up 2022, easy for me to say, or not so much, I am just overwhelmed with a sense of gratitude and appreciation for everything that I am experiencing in life and in work. And I know bigger and better things are on the horizon. And I am inviting you to stick around and be on the ride with me because it's a fun ride. I'm enjoying it. I love it. And I just want to thank you. And I want to thank all of you that have been out there cheering me on, supporting me, guiding and directing me, and being my teachers along the way. I do not take it for granted. I do not ever want you to think that I don't look at each and every one of you fondly, with a real true sense of affection and appreciation. And I expect big things for the Ripple and the Ripple brand in 2023. And I hope you'll be along with us for the ride and to see where we go and what we do with it. So you guys have a phenomenal wrap up to your year. Get ready because 2023 is going to be big, I hope, for everybody. And let's go forward and create some positive ripples together. What do you say? Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for this very meandering, long episode where I'm just highlighting a bunch of stuff that could be considered random crap. I don't know, but it's my show, so I can do what I want. I'll be back with that interview with Jenna Valentine in the next episode to kick off 2023. You will not want to miss that. And until then, ripple on.